Josh M, newer mowing customer this year. Scope of work's going to be just kind of like some light bed cleanup, a lot of trimming, pruning, shaping, ripping some stuff out. So starting in the front here, so all this running along the property here, just trim and shape the whole thing up, kind of like square it off basically. In the front, they did mulch not that long ago, so the mulch looks pretty good. I don't even really see many weeds. The only weeds that I see are these nutsedge weeds. So I would just spray them. I wouldn't even, don't pull them or anything. If you want to lightly like rake the beds out, it's fine, but just spray that nutsedge there. And then there's nutsedge back here. So spray all that. If you see any other nutsedge here, it almost looks like grass, sort of. I don't really notice many other weeds, you know, maybe a weed here or there throughout all the mulch beds. If you see that, you can kind of pull it. The grass here right along the driveway, just string trim that, not grass but the weeds growing. Up there, I don't really notice many weeds, but if you see any poking up, there's a couple that you can yank out. Like you can yank this guy, a couple small ones back there to yank, and then just keep an eye for nutsedge. So moving over to here, so pruning and shaping this guy, all the viney funky stuff that's growing on it, like it looks like it's kind of like a vine growing on the actual plant. Ideally we want to try to get it down to this actual like shrub, and get all the other junk off it. But if you can't pull every little bit, just prune and shape the whole thing, just like kind of shape it up. And then all the growth running here along this retaining wall, just want to bust all that out. I would spray that when you're done to kill it out as well. Any viney weeds that you see growing in hostas, front and back, like you see one growing here, this looks pretty good. Yank that off. You'll notice some in other spots. So again, clearing all this out. This plant she wants ripped out. It's for Cynthia. So just cut it all the way down flat, and then she does want the stump grinded. I don't think we need to bring PG out, but I think if you just use your roto rip saw or your shovel saw and the sawzall or whatever else, straight edge shovel, to try to bust it out the best you can, we'll be fine. She just wants to be able to plant something later on. Kind of clean up these beds a little bit. Over here, pokeweed, you can yank that. A couple weeds here you can yank. These guys you can leave. I think they're like an onion plant, so you can leave them. All this stuff right here, yank all that out. Flower stays, yank all that out. Moving over here to the hosta, same deal. If you see any viney, weedy stuff growing up through it, just yank that out. A couple little viney things here. Right here, she's got poison ivy coming through from the neighbor. Not a ton, but a couple spots here. We might spray this with something that isn't full on Roundup, but that's like a selective killer for poison ivy only, so that we're not killing out like all plants in this area, but we'll target hopefully just the poison ivy because it's really the neighbors. But we'll check the notes for that, how we handle that one. Over here, so you got the clematis growing on the fence. You can leave that alone, but down here, this growth she wants cleared out. This funky little weed thing, make sure to dig that out. She said that always comes back. It's a pain for her. Any weeds in the mulch beds you can clear out. Got another viney weed in the hostas there to yank out. Back here looks pretty good, but again, all mulch beds, you see any weeds popping up, just clear them out. Can't tell if this is nutsedge or grass. It looks like grass, but I would just spray it with nutsedge. Spray while you're out. This thing, just trim and shape the whole thing down like as aggressively as you can without it being super duper bare all the way around. Prune it. More weeds, kind of clean up the beds. Over here, so she wants, so there's like a plant right here. You'll be able to tell more in person, but this is a plant that she wants to keep. So that she wants to keep it, all this white stuff and all this ground cover she wants it dug out, and then I would spray that area to kill it out. This area, so she's not worried about inside the bed so much, so you can kind of leave that go, but just kind of quickly clean up around the outside. I would just run a string trimmer along the mulch bed here. I wouldn't even get in with your hands unless there's some big ones you want to yank, but small stuff, just hit it with a string trimmer. Any vines that are coming out and growing out, yank them out. Like some of these vines that are creeping out, you can get rid of them. Leave the flower here. These vines, cut them or do something. Anything that's like bursting out of there, you want to just contain it. Leave that plant, trim all this, viney cut. And then she said there's a little bit of poison ivy in here as well. Right there, 3-leaf. So same thing, if we have that selective weed killer that we can maybe spray here, or maybe we'll just all out blast it with Roundup, but then try to pull it out at a later date. But I would just spray it and then we'll come back and yank it later on. Got a big poke weed right here, this big boy, yank that one out. And then this one here, yank that out. So that's right around that garden bed. All right, over here, so this tree, I told her we don't trim trees, but low branches, I said like 12 to 15 foot with the ladder, between a ladder, extender pole, pole pruner, whatever. She'll be able to trim some of these back and clean them up. Again, she's really more concerned about the low stuff. So she might have a tree company trim the whole thing, but our price will be cutting some of the low stuff. So I would get as, I guess, as high as you can. Mainly the branches that are coming down, I would say. Like for this one, for example, the one that's going up, I would cut it here and cut it here. Leave this one that's shooting up. You could probably leave that because there's some growth that's going up. And then some of these, this one that's going low, just trim that. And then I would also just trim any of the low stuff that you can reach over there. It's getting close to like hitting your head over here, so that's kind of her main concern. I'm gonna reach out to Lee next door to see if he's interested in us trimming the fence line and cutting it back. But if not, then what she wants done is all the weedy, like viney stuff that's growing here, just cut it. Mostly what is along her fence line we're gonna cut. Maybe like this one, if it's a little bit close, it's just this big tall weed thing, you can just cut it and cut the whole thing and haul it away. But outside of that, like the lilies and the hostas can stay, but all this funky growth here, just probably just take a string trimmer, hold it up sideways, kind of bust it out, and then rake the stuff out and haul it away. All here again, hostas can stay, lilies can stay. This is a weed, really, this big giant weed tree, yank that out. Back here, these hostas, there's just same as up prior, any of this viney stuff growing. Just